Today, I got 12 band exercises that everybody should have in their programming, especially if you're training at home with limited equipment. I truly believe these exercises are as good or better than free weights and machines for building strength and muscle. First exercise, we're hitting chest with my favorite resistance band flies. I like to use kind of a chest high anchor point or the super high anchor point, as you can see on the wall over there. And I like that anchor point to be out wide so that you can get a full contraction and it's pulling your arms away from the center of your body. The other thing to keep in mind here is to make sure that you have good tension throughout the range of motion. And honestly, the progressive resistance of this band fits the biomechanics of this exercise perfectly. And you can get huge contractions, better than cable machines, better than dumbbells, and I truly think that you should try these out. Exercise number 2, we're doing banded push-ups. This is a great chest exercise, and with the addition of a band, you can get tons of resistance, and you're gonna get great chest activation, as well as triceps and shoulders. Setup is just like any other push-up. Keep yourself in a nice flat plank position, control the tempo, and get yourself a really good squeeze at the top, and also control that eccentric or the negative portion of the rep. Exercise number 3, we're hitting triceps with a bilateral tricep extension, 2 anchor points, 2 41-inch bands, grab them vertically. You can do this single arm as well, but I prefer the bilateral version because it's more balanced. And you're gonna get right in here, full extension on those triceps, making that X with the band. It should touch your chest. And it's all about controlling the tempo here. Big squeeze at the bottom. Let it up nice and slow. And you can just grind out the reps and stack up tons of resistance here and really feel it in your triceps. Exercise number 4, we're doing some side delt action. We're gonna do lateral raises. I like using the Clench foot plate and a couple of 41-inch bands with some handles just because I can set that resistance perfectly. And once again, the strength curve of this exercise really fits the biomechanics. So it gets a little bit lighter towards the bottom, and then it gets super heavy at the top where I'm getting full contraction of those side delts. And you need to give these a try. Also with the handles, you can adjust that tension by wrapping the band around so that whether you're a tall person, a short person, this will fit you excellently. Exercise number 5, we're gonna be doing some more shoulders. We're gonna hit some front delts with overhead presses. These are, again, super simple, single 41-inch band. Grab yourself something to sit on the band, and then we're gonna grab this band, hook our thumbs in, shoulder width apart, and extend it up over our head, big reach, making sure you're getting that full contraction. Let it down nice and slow to roughly about nose height. And what's awesome about these is you can get tons of resistance. The curve is great because you get that peak resistance at this full extended position. And also it's gonna be a lot less impact on your joints than free weights and machines. Exercise number 6, we're gonna blast our biceps with strict curls. Now these are my absolute favorite bicep exercise. Do them in every bicep routine because it actually isolates the biceps and forces all of that tension directly into the biceps, and it doesn't allow you to cheat. So I like to put my back up against the wall so that they're strict, and then when we're curling these up, big squeeze at the top, control it down, keeping those elbows pinned into our side, and make sure you set the bands up so that you have tension all the way through this rep. So I got the bands folded in half, hooking one end on each side of the handle, and you can clearly see that I got a lot of tension at the bottom, and then it continues to increase. I get peak force here at the top, big squeeze, and then let it down nice and slow. Exercise number 7, we're gonna hit some glutes and hamstrings with RDLs. It's also gonna work our lower back, and what's nice about bands is that this RDL exercise is usually a pretty high impact for your low back. With the bands, it's a significantly less impact to your lower back, and you're still gonna get a great glute and hamstring pump. I like setting this up on the Clench Fitness foot plate because I can offset the resistance to be on my toes so that when I'm in this fully bent over position, I have that resistance pulling me straight down, big hamstring stretch, exhale up, big squeeze at the top, thrusting my hips forward, glutes contracted, and then I'm breaking at the hips, sticking my butt out behind me. Big hamstring stretch all the way down, making sure I still got good tension. Exhale, and big squeeze. And that's how we do the RDLs. Next up, exercise number 8. We're doing some more back. We're gonna hit seated V-bar rows. So we got a low anchor point, a single 41-inch band, and then we pop our handles in just like this so that we get that V-bar. And then we're sitting on a bench. Get yourself scooted away from that anchor point so we have tension here pulling us all the way forward. And this is gonna hit our lower lats and a little bit of biceps. We're just gonna row it right into our midsection. Big squeeze, driving those elbows behind our spine. Same thing here, always control that tempo, making sure we got good tension. If you don't have enough tension, you always just scoot a little bit further away from that anchor point. Drive through, and you should really feel it in those low back, lower lat muscles. Ooh. And once again, this one's excellent because you can load up that resistance, really control it, and feel it in the right muscle group. Number 9, we're gonna do some more back, and we're gonna do some 90-degree bent over rows. So the way I like to set this thing up is it's almost just like the RDL setup where I got that resistance out in front over, like in front of my toes. And that's so that we can get into this 90-degree angle, bent straight over, and now we're gonna row it up into our chest, keeping our elbows relatively flared, maybe at like a 45 degree. And we're pulling it into the side of our pecs, big squeeze, let it down slow, make sure we have good tension at the bottom. I don't want you bending over so far that the band loses tension. You gotta maintain some tension at the bottom. And once again, we're rolling it up, keeping those elbows out, pulling it into the side of our chest, big squeeze, driving those elbows behind our spine. And what that's gonna do, it's gonna target more of those upper back muscles, upper lats, teres, lower traps. That way we can round out the back muscles with these exercises. Exercise number 10, we're gonna smash our quads with sissy squats. This is honestly one of my favorite quad exercises to do with bands. It's better than the sissy squat benches. It's better than doing sissy squats by themselves, and I'll show you why. We're gonna grab our 41-inch band, anchor point about knee height, something super sturdy so we don't tip over, and then we're gonna put one leg in each side of the band, bring it up just behind our knee, and then center everything so that when we put some tension on this, it all feels good and looks good. And then we're gonna preload our band a little bit. So I'm gonna step back, make sure you got some good shoes on and some traction on that floor because your feet are gonna be holding you up. You don't want them to kick out. And this is the secret. So the band is pulling our knees into that flex position, and just to stand up straight, I gotta contract my quads and squeeze them. And now we're gonna add the sissy squat component in, like we're sitting down into a chair. Get some really good knee flexion here as low as we can go. Stand up, full extension, huge quad squeeze. And this one, just go as slow as you can, all the way down. Pause at the bottom, stand up, big squeeze at the top. And you're only gonna be able to get a handful of reps here, but you're gonna get a huge quad pump. And honestly, I do these every single week. Exercise number 11, we're gonna do some more legs. We're gonna hit some calves, and we're using donkey calf raises. Setting this up, I love using a Clench foot plate with the riser kit on it to get some more heel clearance. And then with this, we're gonna jam in a super heavy band because we know that calves love high resistance. Put a counterweight on the front of your foot plate so that it doesn't slip over or tip up. And then all you do is hook it around the base of your back, stand up, get yourself over into this 90-degree position and hang those heels off the end. And then you're just gonna get a big calf stretch. And the further you lean forward, the more calf stretch you're gonna be able to generate. And then we're just gonna push through, big squeeze, full ankle flexion, extension, let it down nice and slow. And once again, tempo is key on these. Keep everything nice and slow, time under tension, and you'll get a huge calf pump. You can stack multiple bands on here to get hundreds of pounds of resistance. Last, but definitely not least, we're doing X-band squats with a foam roller. This is as close to as you can get as a hack squat, and you can actually get some solid resistance here by crossing a pair of bands over, and you can even stack bands here to get hundreds of pounds of resistance. It's easy to set up, cross the bands, step one foot on each side. And then we're gonna position ourselves up against the wall, grabbing our foam roller. And why do we like to use the foam roller? Ultimately, it takes degrees of freedom out of the exercise. Basically our back and all of our joints up top here, the stress is taken off of them, and now we have a consistent path of motion that allows us to focus heavily just on the quads and the legs. So you're gonna drop down, all the way down, pause at the bottom, extend, big squeeze, and you should feel this, almost all of it's gonna be driven into those quads. Ooh. Boom, big squeeze at the top. Once again, always control that tempo. The slower you go, the more time under tension, the more you can make these reps suck, the more you're gonna get out of them. All right, there's my 12 exercises. Let me know in the comments below which one of these is your favorite. Also, if you want to see more content like this or in-depth reviews of each one of these exercises, check out the on-screen video links. We got tons of content on this channel just like this. Furthermore, if you like what you saw today, be sure to smash that like button. And if you need any of the resistance bands or accessories shown today, head over to clenchfitness.com. We will hook you up. And thank you for watching.